Members of the military who refuse to get the COVID vaccine risk being dishonorably discharged. I don't think so. Look, I'm a big supporter of the vaccines. I don't have a problem with the military mandating them either. After all, some members of the armed forces are required to have as many as 18 different vaccines, including the COVID jab, depending on where they're serving. But all service members, no matter where they're stationed, are required to have 9 different vaccines, including chickenpox, hepatitis A and B, MMR, rabies, typhoid, polio, influenza. You can't refuse. Okay. But a dishonorable discharge? Isn't that for the highest of offenses? Desertion, fraud, murder? As a result, you lose all your vet benefits like health care, insurance, money for school or work training. You know, Republican Senators Langford, Tuberville, Cruz, and Marshall are now fighting to prevent active service members who refuse the vaccine from being dishonorably discharged. Senator Marshall explained it.
If they're giving a dishonorable discharge, then that soldier is going to lose their benefits. They're going to have problems getting a job in the future. They'll lose their benefits of getting a free education as well as health care.
The Biden administration has come out against an amendment to the defense budget that would prevent the Pentagon from dishonorably discharging service members who refuse to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Look, this is one of these topics where I could be convinced that I am wrong. But it seems to me that this just goes too far. There are many in this country who fear the vaccine. I think vaccine resistance is unfounded. I think it's dangerous. But I don't think I want to punish those who've served in the military for having questions or sometimes believing disinformation. A dishonorable discharge is for people who've done a disservice to the country, it seems to me, not for those who refuse. I don't know. Maybe they're misguided, but that's different. We're going to hear from both sides of this. But let's start with Jeremy Butler, the CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. He served in the Navy and has worked for the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of the Navy. Thanks so much for coming on the program. Really appreciate it. All right, look, you have served, I have not. So maybe I am missing something here, but why the draconian punishment of a dishonorable discharge for someone who fears the vaccine for whatever reason?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Dan. And what I'd say is you need to take a step back and don't think about it as a punishment for refusing a specific vaccine. Think about it as a refusal to follow a lawfully provided order. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a vaccine, if you're talking about a deployment order, if you're talking about an order to report to your next duty station, you raise your right hand to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And part of that means following the orders that you're given. It doesn't matter if it, in your view, is a small order or a big order. If it's a lawful order, you follow it. And let me just add, this isn't hypothetical to me. I did serve on active duty. I'm still in the reserves right now. So this affects me. I've been ordered to get the shot. I have got the shot. And that's part of being in the military. You rattled off some of the vaccines that were required to get. Just before coming on here, just out of curiosity, I went online to check my medical record to look at some of the others that I've been given over the years. And it's kind of crazy when you realize just how extensive that is. That's part of being in the military. I've been given the smallpox vaccine, typhoid, yellow fever, anthrax. I mean, the list goes on and on. Welcome to the military.
Fair enough. I get that, except there is something different. It's not that the vaccine is different. It's that the environment we're living in is different. And as a result, I can understand where people who may get information from only one source will be afraid. And they will say, you know what? I'm afraid for myself. I'm afraid for my family. You say it's not a punishment, but a dishonorable discharge will, as you know, mess up the rest of your life. I mean, isn't there I say this as someone from a sort of support the troops perspective to say, I feel bad for these guys and I don't want them to be punished like that with a dishonorable discharge.
And I don't either, and I think that's why the Department of Defense is doing everything possible to educate service members properly. I don't think we can let disinformation decide how we run our military. And that's the problem here. At the end of the day, it's a bigger issue of disinformation running rampant in this country. And it doesn't matter if we're just talking about vaccines, global warming, you name it. We cannot let disinformation, misinformation, straight up lies change how we run a institution, especially as important as the Department of Defense. I'm absolutely with you. I hope it doesn't come to the point of anyone getting a dishonorable discharge, because you're right. That is a very severe punishment. but so is not following orders within the military. The military has been given a lot of time to get their vaccines. It's not as if they have to have it by tomorrow. We're taking the time to educate every service member, and hopefully they realize that this is the safe, correct thing to do, and they follow through and get the vaccine.
Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate it. Now, on the other side of this argument is Greg Rinke. He's representing multiple clients in the military seeking COVID vaccine exemptions. Greg, thanks a lot. Appreciate your time as well tonight. What do you make of that argument, which you just heard, which is it's a lawful order. It's like every other order when it comes to a vaccine. And as a result, you don't want to follow an order, you get the punishment that comes with it.
Well, I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of most troops that if they fail to follow the order, they're likely going to receive what's called non-judicial punishment. And then if they are separated from the military, they're going to be separated from the military with either a general under honorable conditions discharge or an other than honorable discharge. The vast majority, and I would highly doubt that any troops are going to be dishonorably discharged. A dishonorable discharge is reserved for rapists, child molesters, and the worst of the worst. So it's more than likely if they are discharged, they're going to be discharged with a general or an other than honorable discharge, which still is going to stigmatize them in civilian life, and they're going to lose some of their benefits. But it's more than likely not going to be a dishonorable discharge.
But it does seem that remains a possibility. I mean, I hear you that there are other options, right? And they've specifically been discussing other options, but there is also a resistance to simply saying, okay, let's just promise these guys that they won't be dishonorably discharged. And there seems that there's real resistance to that. Why do you think there's that resistance?
Well, I mean, the only way to get a dishonorable discharge is through a court-martial. So any of these troops that do not take the vaccine and take their case to a court-martial, it's going to be up to a panel of their peers or a military judge to give them that dishonorable discharge. And then that has to be approved by a general officer. So it's on the table, but the vast majority, and I would say all of the service members that we represent now, basically what's happening is they're getting non-judicial punishment and then being separated with either a general or an other than honorable discharge.
And are you fighting those? I mean, how are you fighting them? And
yes.
What do you make? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So it's one thing to say that you're not going to take the vaccine. I agree with the fact that if you violate an order, you should be punished for violating that order. But then separating service members who have served overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq and then stigmatizing them with an other than honorable discharge and taking their GI Bill benefits is unduly harsh. So we're trying to convince convening authorities and general officers to separate service members with either a full honorable or a general under honorable conditions discharge. So they're not stigmatized in civilian life.
Look, but I hope in the context of that, because I agree with your position, that you're also encouraging them to get the vaccine, saying to them, look, you get 8 other vaccines, 9 other vaccines. Sometimes you get 17 other vaccines. Why is this one so much different? Are you saying that to any of your clients?
Well, of course. But remember that a lot of service members, their hesitancy is because of going back to the anthrax vaccine that the military gave a lot of their service members in the early 90s, and it was experimental use. And then there was issues in Gulf War syndrome. So there's a lot of distrust amongst military members with vaccines, especially one that they feel has been rushed into production.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, I think despite my position that sides with you on the issue of punishing them, boy, I hope we encourage them to get the vaccines. I just don't want to punish them. That's, to me, the key difference. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.